Alright, what's up guys? My name's Damien. This is my 89 Mark III Supra A70. Just doing a little build on it, figured I'd make a little series. I plan on doing like the drift events up here, videoing those and other race events and just kind of showing what Alaska has going on. You know, nothing crazy. But anyways, I'm about to do a whole bunch of work to the Supra, so I figured I might as well make a couple little videos of it. People were saying I should have made videos back when I was originally building this thing, but I got a lot more to do and I'm about to tear it all back down, so might as well make videos now, huh? Let me show you a little bit about the car. Alright, so this is the car. This is an 89 Mark III Supra. It was originally a turbo Targa car, manual. It came with the 7M GTE and R154. I had tried with the 7M quite a bit. I fully built one. I've got, you know, the pistons out of the blown up built 7M. And, you know, I already said blown up, so I didn't have a whole lot of luck with the 7M. It just wasn't doing what I needed it to do. I believe the head didn't drain fast enough for the sloshing and high RPM, because I built this as a drift car. So I took out the 7M this last year, and I installed the 1JZ VVTi in it. Still mated to the R154 that came in this car. But I am very happy I did this swap. It works amazing. Had no issues at the last drift event of the year. As far as temps, it stayed nice and cool. Oil stayed full. Oil stayed high pressure, just like it was supposed to. So I'm super happy with it. Got to do a few little things. As you can tell, I got some oil leaks going on. So I ordered cam seals and the VVT gear seals. So hopefully we can get all that sorted. I'll tell you more about the engine as I pull it out. We're pulling it out because I'm going to build the R154. I ordered the billet shift forks and bearings, synchros, all that. So we're gonna, there's nothing wrong with it. I just don't want there to be a problem with me beating the crap out of it. Besides that, there's a ton going on underneath it. But I think first I'm gonna take the wheels off, get the coolant draining, and get ready to pull this engine. And while the wheels are off, I'll tell you a little bit more about what's going on underneath it. Also, some of you may see what I got going on here. I've got this air guide that I'm installing into this spare bumper with the Turbo A duct. I'm not a body guy, so I just kind of started cutting and mocking it up, and I'll figure all this out later. I figure get the car mechanically sound first. Like my little bash bar back here ends up being right in the Turbo A duct, so I'm going to have to figure that out. I do have the factory bumper up there with the Legend cars stacked. We don't worry about those right now. Alright, so now that the wheels and tires are off and the coolant is draining, let me show you a little bit about this. Let's boost. He's a good boy. Alright, so as far as suspension goes, we have BC Racing DS series coilovers. Sorry, everything under here is filthy. I took it for a rip in the snow before I put it on stands. We have the BC Racing coilovers. We're going to be changing spring rates on those. I want to try a little bit heavier and see how it does. We have the Agile Performance extended track width angle kit. It works very well. Highly recommend it. And these are the stock front brakes for now. Next week I will get in the big brakes, and I'll make a video doing that too. I ordered the 13-inch rotors with the Willwoods. Just 4-piston, you know, it's a drift car. It doesn't need to be crazy, I don't think. Back here we have the Evo calipers with the STI rotors. Those are the main calipers there. We have the factory caliper bolted on as well, and that's ran off the Hydro e-brake. The rear control arms and toe links are also Agile Performance. They come with the kit. They're adjustable rods. We have 3-inch stainless exhaust that I have built. I don't think I'm going to change anything with the rear brakes. They work really good. Probably better than the fronts at this point. I think it's bigger rotor diameter even. As far as interior goes, we've got the Corbeau seat, Marketplace find. That's why it doesn't match that one. It was only one seat. Eventually I do want to do some different seats in here, make them matching, but being in Alaska, shipping seats up here is kind of nuts. So we have the MkIII LZ MFG wheel, leather perforated. Really enjoy this one. We have the Chase Bays Hydro that I cut up the factory stuff to kind of fit it in. From the passenger side, you don't really notice all the cuts. From the driver's side, everything's easily accessible. Built some angle iron and stuff that mounts to the tunnel, and then this just mounts to the plate that I made. Pretty solid. Interior is not terrible shape. Obviously it has the elbow hole there, and there's a crack up there in the dash right there, but it's in really pretty good condition. That's why I didn't want to strip it completely. The carpet was pretty nasty, so I tore that out. Kept the rear seats, which are pretty well pointless in these cars. You know, make insurance a little cheaper, I suppose. And the glove box is where I put the standalone. Glove box lid is pretty broken. Don't judge me on that. And it's kind of a mess back here right now. I threw it together pretty quick after the swap, and I just used double-sided tape, and it's obviously not sticking anymore. So I'm going to do something with this to where this is nicely mounted, but I wired in this standalone, all this, so this runs the engine. Just hook up power and ground and it's good to go. This engine harness is actually something I put together myself. I use the ECU Masters Flying Lead harness for the EMU Black, and I actually had it run on the 7M, but obviously I changed it up and used basically the exact same harness on the 1JZ with just changing a few little connectors and locations here and there, adding stuff for VVTi. Inside here I wrapped up a bunch of wires that are gonna make the drive-by-wire swap really easy. Everything I need for drive-by-wire is taped up in there, so I just gotta put the throttle body on, wire the connector, stick it on. And then back in the trunk, did the rear mounted battery, and I built a battery tray here that mounts to the car and does all that. Have it underneath this rag, have it on this breaker here, so I can just disconnect power from the whole car right there. I cut an access panel to the fuel pump here. That I got AN lines running all the way from the pump to the front, so this just makes it obviously way easier to wire the pump, access the lines, access the pump itself, and you know, in case I ever need to change that pump or access the lines or anything, it makes it way easier, because factory you have to drop the tank on these cars. Now that coolant's drained pretty much, it's still dripping down there, but I'm gonna start pulling off things, get the harness off, and get the engine at least ready to come out, and then I'll get underneath, get the drive shaft out, the trans mount off, and have it ready to pull as a complete unit. so now at this point, I have all the wiring off the engine from the chassis. This will go with it. I got all the heater lines, the coolant lines, all the oil lines disconnected. Pretty much engine's ready to come out at this point. Now it's just a matter of pulling the drive shaft, dropping the trans mount, remove the shifter, and remove engine mounts, and then it should come up. I'm gonna dig through my boxes, see if I can find the factory hooks for this. We'll make hooking onto this to pull it out that much more easier. I'm gonna get under this thing, disconnect the down pipe to the exhaust, take the drive shaft out, remove the trans mount, remove the shifter, and then I'll be back with you guys pulling the engine pretty soon. Alright, so now everything's disconnected. I got the jack holding up the trans just so I can kind of lower it and roll it out when it comes. I found my hooks. These factory hooks, they are ugly. So you always want to take them off the engine for looks. But keep them around. Engine's going to come out more than you want it to. Now I just got to disconnect the hood struts so I can pop the hood back a little farther to give the cherry picker some room. Hook the load leveler up to those hooks, and we'll start pulling. Well, here she is in all her glory. L1JZ. R154, about to pop off and get built. Another reason I gotta pull this apart is my clutch fork hits my pressure plate. I think I'm missing one of the shims in there, so I got a new shim kit. You can see all this oil here. I believe it's just coming from this VVT gear, but I got new cam seals anyways. The front crank seal is new with the PHR oil pump. This Mark III rack here leaks really bad. Oh, my light died. That's all right. So this rack leaks really bad. This is a rack out of a parts car because I rebuilt the factory rack twice and it still leaked. And you can't get these racks anymore, as you Mark III guys know. And remans just leak. You can't even get remans anymore. So one of the goals, while the engine is out, one of the reasons why the engine actually came out is I'm going to try and fit over here. We have a BMW rack right here. So hopefully I can find a way, I don't think it'll be too hard, to mount it right in place of this rack. And I have an idea on how to make it the exact same length. And it seems to, I measured it out, it seems to turn about the same amount, has the same amount of stroke. The ratio is obviously a little different, but from what I could tell, if you buy a Z3 rack, it'll turn the same speed wise. But for now, I'm just going to try and fit that rack in there. It'll be slightly slower turning, but hopefully I won't leak. And then obviously BMWs, drift cars, everyone's using them now, so parts are plentiful. So that's part of the main reason why I chose a BMW rack. So I think I'll make some videos doing that. Hopefully it comes to fruition, and maybe it'll help some of you other Mark III guys out who have leaky racks all the time. All right, so I took a little bit of time without recording. I just separated the engine and trans. Clutch and flywheel are off, so I could get it up here on the engine stand. I did a little bit of cleaning already. Just a little bit of spray down with Simple Green. I think I'll come back through, spray it with Simple Green again, and brush it, just so we can get the subframe all cleaned up and ready to see if I can fit that new rack in. But I got the pulley off and the covers off, and you can see in there all that oil all coming right out of the VVT cam gear. Made a mess of things, but that's all right. We'll pull it all apart and we'll clean it up. Oil all down the sides. I'm still debating on how far I want to go with the engine out. I might actually, you know, pull the head, do studs, maybe some cams and springs. I'm pretty happy with the power, but everyone wants more power. So what we have for mods so far is we got the ID 1050 injectors. We have 1ZZ coils, but I'm thinking I'm going to swap these to the GTR coils. As you can tell, I had one go bad, had to put a stock one on. But I think I'm going to switch to the GTR coils, mostly just because they fit better, look better in my opinion. We got the PHR oil pump. That makes a lot of pressure actually. Got a brand new 2JZ water pump. Got the Tomei Arms 8280 ball bearing turbo. Seems to work pretty good. I really wanted to keep this factory looking, so that's why I went with the Tomei. You know, part of me kind of wishes I would have done like a top mount Garrett just for the cool looks, and probably works a little bit better. But this Tomei turbo actually comes on really strong. I've got a Artec manifold up there. I like that because it keeps the stock heat shield, keeps it unsuspecting. We got the Odyssey Fab downpipe. So restriction in the manifold and the downpipe are gone. This thing flows really well. When the turbo comes on, which it doesn't come on much later than the factory one, but it comes on much stronger. It's moving some air. So I think I'll keep this set up. It's working really well. No reason to change it. A little bit of cam might be nice just to make it spool even sooner. And then, you know, I could do springs and retainers and maybe shimless buckets, but just be able to spin this thing to the freaking moon. We also have the drift motion billet timing belt, timing belt tensioner bracket, just so we can go with some anti-lag and do some banging and popping and not have to worry about that coming apart. That's kind of a common failure on these. So that's kind of my thoughts and plans with the engine for now. I mean, it's perfectly fine to keep it how it is too. We just got to fix these leaks, obviously. The transmission's actually perfectly fine. There's no grinding. It goes into gear just fine. The fluid that came out of it looked amazing too. It's just making it strong for preventative, basically. I'm really probably not making enough power to kill it, but with all the clutch kicks and 6-puck clutch and everything, it's just, it seems worth it to just build it now so I don't have to do this all again later. So that's where I'm at, and I think I'm going to call it a day. So if anyone's watching this, thanks for watching. I guess I'll post more as the build continues. Thanks.